Today's briefing. Active exploitation hits a widely deployed VPN. A massive botnet tied to at least 17 million devices is dismantled. WordPress sites face silent admin takeovers, and a fresh wave of security patches lands. Here's what defenders need to know and what to do next. Welcome to your operational cybersecurity roundup. In the next few minutes, we'll move quickly through the key facts, why each story matters for real-world risk, and concrete takeaways you can action before the next shift change. First, Palo Alto GlobalProtect VPN Auth bypass flaw now exploited in attacks. Palo Alto Networks reports that attackers are actively exploiting an authentication bypass in PAN-OS GlobalProtect, tracked as CVE-2026-0257, to attempt breaches of corporate networks. This is the latest development in an ongoing issue we've been tracking. The core fact is simple. An auth bypass on a perimeter remote access gateway is being used in the wild to try to gain access. That elevates this from a theoretical risk to an immediate operational concern. Why it matters. GlobalProtect is embedded in many enterprise remote access architectures. An auth bypass undermines trust at the edge, potentially enabling initial access, lateral movement, or configuration tampering without valid credentials. Defender takeaway. Pull vendor guidance now and apply mitigations or updates as directed. Tighten exposure by restricting portal and gateway access to known networks where feasible. Increase logging and alerting on GlobalProtect events, and review for unusual authentications, configuration changes, or the creation of new accounts. If you can, add short-term geofencing, rate limits, and strict management plane access controls while you validate posture. Next, Dutch authorities dismantle botnet linked to 17 million infected devices. Authorities announced the takedown of a bot network that enslaved millions of computers, tablets, smartphones, and IoT devices. The infrastructure included more than 200 servers located in the Netherlands. This update is also part of an ongoing issue we've been tracking and marks a significant disruption of criminal capability at scale. Why it matters. A botnet of this size fuels distributed attacks, credential abuse, and malware delivery. The takedown reduces immediate harm, but compromised devices often remain infected and can be re-enlisted by other operators. Defender takeaway. Assume some endpoints or IoT assets in your environment could be impacted. Run comprehensive endpoint and network scans, prioritize high-risk and unmanaged segments, and remediate devices showing unwanted services or traffic. For IoT, update firmware, remove default credentials, segment from critical networks, and monitor egress for anomalous destinations. Be responsive to any notifications from service providers or authorities and close any exposure that enabled the initial compromise. Third, WP Maps Pro bug exploited to create admin accounts on WordPress sites. Attackers are targeting WordPress sites running a vulnerable version of the WP Maps Pro plugin, exploiting a flaw that allows creation of rogue administrator accounts without authentication. The consequence is full site control for the attacker, with potential for backdoors, content tampering, data theft, or SEO fraud. Why it matters. WordPress drives a significant share of public-facing web presence for small and mid-sized organizations, as well as departments within larger enterprises. A silent admin takeover turns a legitimate site into an attacker's platform and can ripple into brand, customer trust, and downstream compromise. Defender takeaway. Immediately update WP Maps Pro to the latest safe release or disable it until you can verify a fix. Audit WordPress user lists for unknown admin accounts. Review recent logins and changes, and remove or reset anything suspicious. Rotate credentials, update API keys tied to the site, and consider temporarily tightening WAF rules to throttle admin actions. Longer term, minimize plugin footprint, keep themes and plugins patched, and enforce least privilege roles. Finally, daily trends. Multiple vendors release security patches or advisories addressing newly disclosed vulnerabilities. The headline context is clear. There's a new patch wave across the ecosystem. The key fact is not any single bug, but the aggregate pressure it puts on remediation teams. Why it matters. The window between disclosure and exploitation continues to shrink. Unpatched internet-facing services and common software components remain prime targets. Defender takeaway. Run an out-of-band risk-based patch review now. Prioritize internet-exposed systems and flaws enabling authentication bypass, remote code execution, or privilege escalation. Where immediate patching isn't possible, apply vendor-recommended mitigations, compensating controls, and heightened monitoring. Verify deployment with post-patch validation, and document residual risk for follow-up. To close, here's your action list for today. Verify your GlobalProtect posture and monitoring. Sweep for signs of compromise tied to large-scale botnets. Lock down WordPress sites and plugins, especially WP Maps Pro, and accelerate this week's critical patches. If this briefing helped you move faster, subscribe, share it with your team, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next operational update.